pressure, they can change and they can become different than how we know them to act. So right now, all of our bomb techs, our explosive specialists, are up there very thoroughly, methodically trying to make safe the area so that when our national response team comes in this afternoon, that area can be as safe as possible for every law enforcement up there, so we can go ahead and make sure we do that search and recovery efforts in the safest manner as possible, and that's what ATF and our partners are doing right now.
One of the things that I know that you may have heard that's also on scene, TBI is on scene with their rapid DNA. They use that term, rapid DNA, and this situation is going to be, again, very hard because of the circumstances, because of the devastation. Can we get an idea of some DNA? Absolutely. Here again, we want to make sure that we're taking the time to confirm. Anytime we do anything like that, we always want to make the confirmation for our families, for everybody that's involved in this concern. Patience. We're asking for patience. The community's outpour of support, unimaginable. We have people, Sheriff and I have had people and other sheriffs from across the state to reach out to us. We're very appreciative of that.
Amen.
James?
Okay, this time we'll take some questions. Nicole?
Earlier you said he's not recovered and survived. Does that mean you presume that all 18 will be safe?
We're making the, now keep in mind there were, and I don't want to have confusion here, there were some folks that were on the scene that left. We talked about that, that were involved. Those are not including that. At this time, again, and I want to reiterate the comment that I made, I can tell you that more than 300 people have been through almost every square inch of this facility, and at this time we've recovered no survivors. Ma'am, I never want to give up hope. Hope's always in my heart, but I don't want to give false hope either. Well, again, we are doing the DNA, but we're going to have to slow walk that because of the scene, the way that the scene is, and as devastating as it is for any type of true confirmation.
Does that mean you're no longer in the search? Any bodies found?
At some point in time, we've got to rip off the Band-Aid. Can I tell you, and I alluded to it yesterday, it's not like working a accident. It's not like working a tornado. We're dealing with explosions. And I would say at this time we're dealing with remains.
Sheriff, are you still in the search and rescue phase, or are you now in recovery?
And we're moving to recovery, sir.
Sheriff, you mentioned that
Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. She had one.
Can you say that you have informed family members that you have identified the remains of their loved ones? So how many remains have you positively identified at this point?
As of currently, we're in the process of the identification of the remains. I can tell you by other means that we can tell you who was in the building at the time of the explosion. I think the expectation of anyone that was inside that building and anybody that we can probably make the assumption, and I'm not even going to use the word assumption, I think that we can utilize, well, I have to use that word, forgive me, we can assume that they are deceased at this time.
You said that you saw things that were more volatile. What exactly do you mean?
Well, we're dealing with the type of facility that we're talking about, and I'll come back to you in just a moment. The type of facility, the ordinance, the type of facility that this is, the things that they deal with, how they make it, it's more explosive devices. And when we have explosive devices of that we don't know their gas makeup that's changed, the compound makeup has changed. I'm not a chemist. I don't want to get into even try to get over into all of that. But when these folks, these professional folks tell me that we have a very volatile scene and that we're going to have to be extremely slow and methodical, and that's what we're going to do. So, yes, ma'am. Hold on, sir.
Sheriff, you said the situation
we can possibly, we are going to possibly have some of those that we're going to have to dispose of in some way, form, or fashion. We have got it set up and arranged to where we're going to have a notice that's going to come out to you guys, as well as trying to put it out to the community if that does take place or when that takes place, and we will try to answer that.
Have you ruled out foul play?
Again, we're in an investigative type situation, and can I say we're going to rule out foul play? We can't answer that. That might be days or weeks or months before we can do that. And it's like I've said every time before, we have one shot at this, and we're going to take our time to make sure that we do the very best for our people and those victims involved. Hang on just a second, somebody here. Yes.
With your preliminary assessment, is there any else that you're
So I really can't answer that question right now. Like I said, our national response team, who are really the worldwide experts in all this, who are coming from all over the country, will be here this afternoon. They will begin their long, thorough investigation to determine the cause and origin of this explosion. That type of information will probably get out to you guys in the next days and weeks to come as they do their investigation and develop that.
All right, thank you, everybody.
She had a
One
last
question.
Do you feel like there's any risk to anyone outside the city?
I do not.
Thanks, everybody. We'll update you as to when the next press conference is. We will try to make the ATF folks available, the experts. So if you have those technical questions, we'll be able to get those for you. The Humphreys County Emergency Management Agency Facebook page is the official page of notification. So if you're not following that, I would encourage you to do that. Otherwise, we'll be back when we have some more things to share. Okay? Thanks, everybody.
Right now is a perfect opportunity for them to be doing what they're doing because it hasn't rained. But as soon as the weather turns, that means everything in that site will be contaminated. I personally believe that they should make some sort of a temporary roof over what they're doing. I don't know if they could do it with a plastic bubble. I don't know if they could do it towards manufacturing stuff together, kind of like what they done in China towards building pre-made hospitals in days where it should have taken months. That way you can confine all the material in that area, and you won't have to worry about it becoming contaminated, because even just a strong hard dew can actually contaminate stuff to the degree that you're not fully 100% effective in what you're actually looking for. I'm just throwing that out there. I'm not a professional scientist. I'm not a professional person that breaks down various chemical compounds and etc. I just know that whenever you start eluting or diluting the materials that's in that investigation right now, whenever you start diluting them with large portions of water, you're going to basically destroy the evidence. Like I said, right now it's been a perfect for the past 48 hours. Well, it ain't quite 48 hours yet. Come in the morning time, it will be 48 hours. But if there was any way possible that they could maybe build a tent, maybe one of them big circus tents, without actually contaminating the scene by stepping on a bunch of stuff, boy, that sure would be nice to kind of in-house that whole event. That way you can combine each man that come in, or woman. I don't know if they had women working there or not. They probably did. But you could put everything together pertaining to all the dots, pertaining to who was late, who ordinarily kept a profile of being late, who was kind of in trouble to begin with. Maybe they'd already got marked up 2 or 3 different times by getting a bad score because of their attitude, or because maybe they done something that they wasn't supposed to have done. And then, of course, you got to look at the telephone records and et cetera, and put all the dots together to determine what do you think occurred here. That way you can prevent it from ever occurring again. That's the best that investigators can do. I mean, there's a purpose for getting down to the bottom of something other than bringing it to the claws of justice, which that's the main initiative towards, if it was done in a malice type way, we want to know why it was done in a malice type way. In other words, was there a displacement employee there? Was he having trouble with some of the supervisors? Was he having trouble with some of the other employees? Was there an employee there that was going through hardship pertaining to a divorce or struggling with other means that was going on in his life? I mean, these are all pure factors that need to be looked at and analyzed whenever you put the whole package together. And like I said, it sure would be nice to have some sort of a big tent, some sort of a big circus tent to build over that site right now to prevent more and more contamination from contaminating the site, because every day that goes by will weaken the proof to the degree that now, instead of it being an absolute, now it'll put it in the category of, well, it could be, which is basically a hypothetical. The people, the loved ones, the community, they're not looking for hypotheticals. They're wanting to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And for surely to God, it ain't going to be another messed up investigation like happened in Mount Carmel, or what happened in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, pertaining to the Oklahoma bombing, or even 9/11. People want to know. People want to get down to the bottom of why this occurred and how can it be prevented from ever occurring again, regardless whether it be by machinery or man. That's my feelings about it. I don't know what it would take to bring in some sort of like a circus tent to cover over that initial area, in which, the way that I understand it, it blowed things probably as much as a half a mile to a mile away from that ground zero. Kind of like what happened during the Oklahoma bombing that everybody missed regarding that there was no way humanly possible that building got split apart the way that it did, with 18 inches of concrete and steel by the Ryder truck. Because if it did do all that damage with the Ryder truck, it would have pushed everything. It would have accelerated everything into the opposite side of the building to the degree that you would have all kinds of stuff on top of the roof being blowed in the opposite direction towards where the Ryder truck was. And how come those authorities, how come those townsmen, the people that was in control of that, how come they didn't open that up to the degree of telling the truth about the Oklahoma bombing? Is still beyond me. It's still beyond me, because whenever you're not telling the whole truth, now you're telling a half lie. If you're telling a half lie, that means you're not telling the truth. Bottom line. Just like whenever they projected the fact that Branch Davidians down in Mount Carmel, Waco, Texas, was all around some pervert that was having sex with 14, 15-year-old girls, that the parents was allowing for that to occur. That way it was a smear tactic. That way it would have looked justifiable, even if it was set intentionally by the government. That was the media's plan towards trying to cover up the truth. Once more, if it's not the truth, that means it's untruthful. If it's untruthful, regardless whether it be a whole lie, a half a lie, an intentional lie, or an unintentional lie, it's still a lie. At the end of the day, it's still a lie. Thank you for listening.